42 pouring in my cup. In the session real loud, good gas, yeah, you know we about to roll it up. Bring the bottles to the session, big tab, go ahead and just live it up. Get lit one night, after that, we can go ahead.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon E, and we're here on 95 South Podcast. Once again, I want to thank everybody. I want to thank God first and foremost. Sorry about that. I want to thank God for this opportunity to be here today. This morning, or well, to be able to wake up this morning and to come on here this morning to be able to do this show with my brother. And I got my brother in the building. You know what I'm saying? My co-host, aka, you know what I'm saying, Jacob, the great Jacob, Mr. Jacob. Shoot, he the midnight love voice, Mr. Personality. Mr. Make the panties drop. Nah, I'm just playing. But anyway, man, what's going on, big dog?
Hey, what's up, man? This your boy, Jacob the Great, King Jacob. You know, also known in the music industry as Jacob Tunes. You know, I'm here, man. Thank God for all. And man, we got a really heartfelt community topic, and something that a lot of people go through individually, and a lot of families battle with because they see their loved ones go through it, and a lot of children don't understand why they choose, you know, the substance over them, you know. So we got a really heartfelt community topic, man. And we just want to thank y'all for tuning in every Saturday morning, top of the hour, the Wake Up Morning Show with Icon E and King Jacob, man. And so we're gonna get into this topic, man. The battle of alcoholism. So Icon, what does that mean to you when you first come to mind, when people you grew up with and people that you know and some family members that you may know that battle alcoholism? What does that mean to you?
I mean, basically, it's just the effect that it has on the family, the effects that it has on the person, the lifestyle. You know, trying to help them navigate through what they're going through, or whatever. I've had my stints with, you know, probably overusing alcohol and not even understanding when I used to be like that, and the effect that they had on my family, because, you know, when I was probably indulging in it, because you got kind of two different types of people that indulge in alcohol and even drugs. You have your functional alcoholic, and you have the alcoholic who basically can't function without it. Meaning, if I got to get up at 6 or 8 o'clock in the morning before I go to work and have a shot or two or a beer before I go into my own job or to function the rest of the day, then that's a person who can't function without it. I was more of the person of who you could call a functional alcoholic. I can either, you know, and then you have the people that's functional who can actually have a beer or two and go to work and be fine. And then you have the ones who they had a beer or two, and as soon as they throw that thing back, you gonna know exactly, you're gonna know they've been drinking. But I was one of the ones who didn't drink, like, you know, if I knew I had to work that day, or even if I had to get around behind a wheel of a car and go somewhere, I wasn't drinking until after work. But I was doing it in excess when I was drinking. I was, you know, I was on that 211, you know what I'm saying? Especially when I was out in Florida, man, I was drinking every night when I got off of work. So, and that's the
boy,
that's,
look at here. Ooh, that's still that 211. Boy, look at here, man. I mean, boy, that ain't really nothing nice, man. That 211 make you think you got a gorilla suit on, boy.
Yeah, so that's the first beer I ever drank that made me feel like when I took two of them, I had drank a fifth or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's how strong them 211s was, man. I was like, these 211s are something different. That's why they're so cheap in the hood. Cause I said, when the first time I drank one of these jokers, I said, well, they trying to take us out for real. You know what I'm saying? They trying to take the black community out for real. You know, I don't know what they cost now, because I ain't had a 211 in years, but at that time, this was, you know, they was probably maybe $1.99 a can or something like that, $1.49 a can. So they was real cheap just to get one can of beer. So, you know,
right.
You know, them old drunks on the side on the corner, they probably get 2 or 3 of them at a time. You know what I'm saying? But that's the biggest thing for me was I didn't realize the effect that it had on my family And I consider myself a functional alcoholic and somebody who didn't necessarily, I didn't have to do it every night, but I did it enough where it was having an effect. So just think about people who do it every day, who drunk all day long, who can't work, who walk around in a daze. You know, I mean, that's a whole different animal in itself. And me being a counselor at one point dealing with drug addicts and alcoholic drug people on drugs, I seen a lot of it firsthand of seeing and hearing the stories of how it affected people's life and destroyed what they had going on. So that's what it kind of means to me when I see it or hear
Okay,
about it.
okay. So alcoholism, the battles of it, the addiction of it, um, the inheritance of it, the genetic curse of it. So we got to figure in all those things. So upon me talking to my boy last night, which was supposed to be on here today, and I do apologize for his absence. He my partner. He a white guy. He my partner. One of my best friends. You know, when I was in the state of Florida, he probably did more for me than anybody else did. You know what I mean? Um, and he battled with alcohol for a long time. But before me, he told me, man, he had been drinking almost every day since he was 16 years old, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in our 40s. So it's like, okay. I said, man, so you fun? He said, oh yeah, bro. He said, man, shit, I drove from Boston to fucking Fort Lauderdale, Florida, man. Just just on the highway, functioning. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you drinking a Pepsi. To me, it was like the person that drank a Pepsi while they driving. That's how it
Yeah.
was with alcohol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he was like, and then my family didn't think I was addiction because I've been doing it for so long, so they thought it was normal. And he said that kind of depressed me in a way. Like as once I overcame it, he's like for them to think that it was nothing wrong with me because I was functioning. But he said what really opened my eyes is when my daughters told me that we don't like you when you drink. When you drink that stuff, you become mean. You become distant. And he said 8 months in rehab, you know, 8 weeks in AAU, this one, that one, one's in Boston, one's in Florida, one's in New York. And he said, finally, he said, when his sister threatened to take his kids away, that's what opened his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
His sister took his kids for about 6 months
Mm.
and put him in rehab
Yeah.
and told him if he messed up again, that, she was going to do some real paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
he battled with it, man. But he's a great guy, bro. Give you sharp his back, man. He just loved the alcohol, bro. That's all, man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I tell people, man, people that love alcohol like that, they ain't steal it from nowhere. It's passed down, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can tell you on my on both sides of my family, man, they drink. Huh? What? They drink. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
and like when I tell you, dog, sitting out there in the wintertime by the barrel with the fire, oh, it's gonna be some bootleg passed around. You know what I
It's,
mean?
see, I'm gonna tell you something about alcoholism, and when you kind of like don't really understand what you're doing, because when you put yourself and other people's lives in danger, and you don't even realize you're doing it. You know what I mean? When I was 18, because I think I told you this story. When I was 9, 10 years old, probably 10, 11 years old, whatever, probably for 5, 6 summers straight. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want people to, kind of people who watch this to kind of know who I'm talking about. But I had a family member that every summer me and him used to drink every summer. We used to, I ain't like to say steal, but you could call it whatever you want to call it. We used to get into a family member's liquor cabinet, and we used to drink. You know what I mean? Like we would take shots of liquor and whatever. And I remember as we got older, I seen the effects it had on him more than even to me. Like it really affected his life. He would getting DUIs, getting accidents, get locked up. You know what I mean? All kind of stuff. You know, pretty much. He had a promising career in acting, and pretty much, lost the whole passion for that, and lost out on opportunities for that because of his alcoholic abuse. And so to me, and then as I got older, when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, and I'm clubbing every weekend and going out different places, and I was just telling my daughter yesterday, I said, man, the reason why I feel for y'all when y'all go out, because I don't want y'all to be out here drinking and driving at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, get pulled over and get a DUI. But I did it every weekend. It was commonplace to me. I would go in the club, have me 2 or 3 beers, and I'm gonna tell you something, Jacob. I'm the type. I was a floss type dude, so I go in there. I might have I'm gonna tell you how crazy it was. I might have a Heineken or an Ice House. Back then we drank Ice House. I have an Ice House in one hand and have a Michelob Bull or Michelob or something in the other hand. So I'm drinking 2 different beers at one time. So I go to the bar, give me 2 beers. Give me a Michelob, give me an Ice House. Stand in the middle of the club drinking it just like that. You know what I'm saying? And then get behind the wheel of a car, take my friends back home, you know what I'm saying? And especially back then, we smoked weed too. So I'm double high. I'm drunk and I'm high. You know what I'm saying? And I did this every weekend for several years. So I know God had his hand on me, because there's no way in the world I should have got away with doing that. And like you said, my dad drank profusely every weekend. My dad, when he passed away, my dad probably had 10 cases of beer in his garage, to the point that my stepmom said, y'all can have the beer and drink as much as you want. I ain't gonna do nothing with it, because my stepmom didn't drink it all. But my dad had probably about 10 cases of beer in his garage or whatever, that he, you know what I'm saying? Because, he popped a couple of cans every night or whatever. So, I had uncles that drank. I had aunts that drank. Saying grandmother, at one time was an alcoholic before she quit cold turkey after my grandfather passed. So I came from a line, and then it was even funny because when we have gatherings, if you didn't drink, you was looked at soft or something wrong with you. If we had family gatherings, you didn't drink. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you think you better than us now? Or you this, you that? Nah.
No, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you something, Icon. My baby brother Cedric, right? My baby brother Cedric, we call him the Good Samaritan. But we call my brother next to me the drinking bishop. So my baby brother Cedric's about 40 now. Cedric has never drank. He's never smoked. He don't really curse. He's just a sports head. He loved to fish. He loved to hunt. He loved agriculture. He's the type of person that loved to live off the land. Like he think that black people has lost their way because we don't live off the land no more. He think that's why so much cancer is out there, because he don't live off the land no more. But back to the drinking. So they be like, he black man, give me a drink. They be like, man, you ain't gonna drink that, man. He was like, and you shouldn't be neither. He said, my liver gonna work at 70, yours ain't. They said, man, don't say that, man. He said, man, you gotta realize, man, that once you've been drinking every day for say you've been drinking every day since you were 16 from 16 to 35. And with that being said, man, drinking like that repetitively, that ain't good for the body. So then you got people who've been around alcohol since they was like you said, like you've been around it since you was young.
Mm-hmm.
And so being around the alcohol like that when you're young, man, that affects mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So what's your take on that?
How it affects you mentally, emotionally, and spiritually?
Yeah.
I think emotionally or whatever, and mentally, I think it become a crutch. It's one of those things that can become something that you do because you feel like if you had a bad day at work or your girl made you mad, or you got into an argument with somebody at the store or something like that, you use it as a crutch. Like my thing would be, "Ooh, I need to calm my nerves down," or "I need something to relax me," or whatever the case may be. So, so those are the effects it would have on me. I would say mentally, spiritually, you start to feel like you start to feel guilty, especially when you wake up the next mornings when you hung over or you ain't feeling too good. You know what I'm saying? So you start to feel, that you need to stop. But 9 times out of 10, you don't. You may not have a sip, you might not have a drink that day, because you got to recover. But eventually, you're gonna get back to it. You may, I've gone 2-3 months at a time. I've gone 6 months at a time without drinking before. So I know like the how that can be, because I've gone long periods of time before without drinking. You know what I mean? And then I would get back on it or whatever the case may be. And then I would have those moments where, it's the holiday season. I'm like drinking dang near every day. I'm on vacation. I'm drinking, it's almost, I'm trying to make up for it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't drinking just beer. I'm really getting into something. Well, I'm drinking some tequila or something. You know what I'm saying?
It's funny you say that, man, because me myself, like say I buy a case of beer. That case of beer probably might not get touched for the next 60 days. You know what I mean? Like I might just have it so I can put one in the freezer, let it get cold when I want. Like I don't drink every day, but when it's that time and I'm just hanging out, like at the family barbecue and stuff like that, and just hanging out, man. Oh yeah, I get it in. I get it all the way in. Cause it's been some days that I'll be like, man, boy, I wonder what time I passed out last night.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I can remember me having a conversation with somebody, and the next day I wake up, it's 9:30 in the morning. Like, ooh, you know what I mean? And so, but the next question is alcoholism, is alcohol abuse, is the battle of alcohol a generational curse?
I think it can be. I think if you allow it to be, I think anything can be a generational curse if you allow it to be. If you allow yourself to get caught up, but it's just like anything. Like just say, you hear people who say they came from a gang community. If you, like I just said, I grew up in a family who were drinkers. So when you're in a family that get drink, you're gonna be, as a kid, you're gonna be curious. You see these people in there having a good time, partying, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So you want to indulge in it, and then when you finally taste it, you may either like it or you don't like it. Now, something that my wife's family did that they do, or her brother-in-law did, as the kid, was funny because he an advocate, like alcoholic. I mean, drink every single day. And the thing he does is when the kids turn 1, he put a sip of beer or whatever on they lips and their tongue so they won't have the taste for it. So it's like he knows it's wrong, and he's trying to stop it, head it off, cut the head off early. But at the end of the day, he still sits around and drinks every day. You know what I'm saying? Himself at 70 something years old. You know what I'm saying? He's been an advocate, everyday drinker since I've known him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I've known this man over 20 something years, and I know he's been drinking way before that. So he's still, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I said, it's an everyday thing. He's been very ill and everything, and still never stopped drinking. You know what I mean? I'm talking about cancerous type ill, and I don't even know how he do it. To have cancer and still be drinking through the cancer. I don't know how bad it is now, but you know what I mean? I just said it's just a lot to it. And that's the thing that probably the biggest effect. And I'll let you, and we'll get through this part, but the physical side of it. The physical damage it does to you is probably the worst part of it all. The liver disease, the heart disease, the cancer. I've been diagnosed with pancreatitis before. So I'm going to tell you something about pancreatitis. And it's the weirdest. It's probably one of the weirdest. I don't even know if you call it a disease or what it's really called or what they label it as. So I'm gonna tell you how I first found out I had it, and and of course being a diabetic, so I know that probably contributed to it. But I'm gonna tell you about my pancreatitis story. So I went to a cookout with my wife and her coworker. I had a couple of shots. I ain't had nothing too serious. I think I had a couple of Coronas, nothing too serious that night. So that night I went to bed, woke up about 10 o'clock in the morning, literally felt like, I know I can't say what labor feels like, but if I had a clue of what labor felt like, that's what it felt like I was going through. It felt like I was going through labor. You know what I'm saying? And I'm literally laying across the bed in a fetus position, can't move, in extreme pain. If the doctor said, what's your pain right now between 1 and 10, I'm gonna say a 12. It was that bad. It was one of the worst feelings I ever had in my life. That particular time, I just laid across the bed, went to sleep, and woke in the morning, pain was gone. And so the next time it happened, maybe a few months later, me and my brother-in-law, nothing real serious. We were celebrating something. He said, let's take a shot. I took a couple of shots or whatever he had in the cabinet. And 2 weeks later, I'm at work. I was used to do security overnight. I'm at work. I'm walking around doing my checks. All of a sudden, I started feeling my stomach, feeling pain. What's going on? I'm thinking I'm gassy, whatever. Next thing I know, that pain gets back. I'm talking about hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm literally in my office on the floor, once again in the fetus position, in mad pain. I called my supervisor saying, listen, I might have to leave. You might have to come in early. I'm in extreme pain. I got to go to the doctor, the hospital. I did security in a doctor's facility, in a clinic facility area, was clinics over there. And when I tried to go to the doctor when they opened up at 5:30, he said, well, I can't do anything with you without your insurance information. I said, well, I'm a VA. I'm a veteran. We don't have insurance cards. And he was like, well, there's nothing I can do. I literally had to call 911 for myself and have them take me, over to the hospital. By the time I get to the hospital and they check me in or whatever, pain gone. You know what I'm saying? I go in there. The doctor said, well, you got something called pancreatitis. She was like, basically, it's one of those things that can come and go. You could drink a beer or have some alcohol, nothing happens. She said it could be one of the things where it hits you years later, or it may hit you every time you drink. She said everybody's body is different, but it's something that you're going to probably deal with your rest of your life or whatever, depending on, how you deal with it or whatever, if you continue to drink. So basically, you know what I mean? So the effects that it has on your body, like I said, I diagnosed with diabetes in 2010. You know what I'm saying? Some people deal with liver disease and, kidney disease. I used to take those people to the doctor's appointments for dialysis. That ain't no joke. You know what I mean? You're dealing with that dialysis, going to that dialysis clinic every other day. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much most people go for the rest of their life once they start getting on it. Some people get blessed and come off of it, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them be on that dialysis every day for the rest of their life. You know what I'm saying?
My pops did it every day for 17 years, man. So I know inside and outside about that dialysis. I know about that kidney, that kidney failure, that kidney disease. Like, I'm passionate about growing awareness about it because I seen my dad die. I seen a man that was Superman to us. You know what I mean? Go from being Superman to, not being able to do what he wanted to do in life. And I kind of think sometimes it mentally disbarred him. It gave him anxiety. But, like.
Well, let me ask you this. How did it affect you since we talked about the family effects they had on the family? How did it affect you to see this, you and your brothers and your sister? How did it affect y'all to see this?
It affected me a lot in a way. I'm the firstborn son. I'm the oldest. And so, like, I've been with my dad and with my mom the longest. And so it affected me in an emotional way. Be like, this dude was Superman to me. I seen him work at the Department of Corrections for 30 years. I seen him become a recreation empire, high school empire. I seen him, working the agriculture side where, he had the tractor, the corn planters, the heroin, the bush hog, did other work for other people. And I seen him be an advocate in the community from from really coaching, church league softball and basketball to really having kids go to what we call Christian youth retreat. It's like a leadership program for the youth, and so I seen all that happen, man. And then I seen him not being able to do all that, and so and I seen me having to having to get him off the toilet, me having to shave him because he didn't have enough strength to put the razor up to his face. You know what I mean? Yeah, I witnessed all that, and I helped him through all that. I witnessed me getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, make sure he had breakfast to go to dialysis, so I could take some of the weight off my mom. Because what my mom was doing, she was taking care of my dad and my grandmother at the same time, and so that's a lot. And then, after both of them had passed away, I can see the emotional and the mental disbarment on my mom. But I can see how her whole body was tired, physically, mentally, and emotionally. You know what I mean? And so that's what I tell people, man. I was blessed with two super parents. You know what I mean? And everybody don't get that. People be like, man, Jacob, because my homeboys used to tell me all the time, bro. Listen, bro. When you going to school, you 14, 15, 16 years old, and your homeboys be like, boy, I wish I had your life. I was like, man, what you mean? I was like, you come from good people. He's like, no, bro. You got a mom and a dad in the home. You and all your sisters and brothers get along. And bro, and y'all go on family vacations. And your dad keep y'all well grounded, man. He don't let y'all be out past a certain hour, and your pops will kick your ass in public, regardless of what people think about him. And he was like, man, you just got the good life, bro. Like that don't happen this day and age. Two parents in the household. He said any child that is blessed with two parents in the household, that these people was formed from a union from God. Like y'all came from God, bro. Like, man, what? Like, bro, that my homeboy, I was like, we was 16 and he was talking, bro. I was like, what happened, bro? He was like, just read, think, and see what I see, bro. And look at my first cousins, they got two parents households, and look at my household. Like, bro, it's plain, bro. That shit hurtful, bro. Y'all dead always at the ball game. My dad, man, who is he?
Yeah.
People say you always look like him, but I don't know that. I ain't never seen him the day before in my life. So I mean, I kind of it's different. And he said, all I know that him and my mama split when she was 6 months old because he was an alcoholic, and she feared that he would jump on her one day. So she called.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
She called a couple of her brothers, and her brothers called the police, and they had him removed.
And see, the thing about it, I'm gonna tell you something too. And me and Pastor Q was talking about this last night when we was talking about certain things, and she was saying how did it affect your life, and how's the effect did it have on you, stuff you go through as a child, as an adult, and things of that nature. When we was talking about relationships, and the one thing that we see with the alcohol side of the thing was I seen my grandmother drink. It was bad for her. She used to get so drunk she would crawl. She would pass out in the kitchen and crawl and get up and crawl to her bedroom. And I seen her and my granddaddy fight like, you don't know if you remember that movie War of the Roses. They used to go at it almost like that. You know what I mean? I'd never seen my granddad put his hands on my grandmother because he used to just try to, if she get like that, he'd go lock himself up in the room. And I seen her chop the bedroom down with a butcher knife one night. You know what I'm saying? And then by the time she broke the door down, she told Ty she just passed out on the floor. You know what I'm saying? But what and even the story is that,
hey, what, man?
Yeah, my grandma had a butcher knife, and she went he was locked himself in the room, and basically she told him she called him Jones because he was an ex-military, so she called him by his last name or whatever. She said, Jones, come out that room, and then he wouldn't come out, so she got to grab the butcher knife and chop the whole door down with a butcher knife. You know what I'm saying? And then by the time she was so tired, by the time she was drunk, by the time she got in the door, She was too tired to even do anything to him. She just passed out on the floor. You know what I'm saying? And so I seen them go at it to the point where even up to the time, the day that he died, she was about to put in divorce papers, whatever, up to that point. You know what I'm saying? Up to that day that he actually went to the hospital when he had a heart attack, and I was sitting right there and seen him have a heart attack or whatever. So when I got married, my thing was I would never stay in a relationship just for the kids. I would never stay in a relationship. If the relationship is not working, it's not working. I'm not about to stick around in a bad, toxic relationship just because it's the right thing. People might think it's the right thing to do. We just gonna have to figure out a way to be co-parenting. But I'm not staying in a toxic relationship because of that, because of what I seen and witnessed in that particular situation. Because that was my only identification with marriage. I knew no other than my aunt and uncle, but I wasn't around them all the time. When they would come around, they would drop the kids off and go back to Charlotte. When my other aunt and uncle, I spent maybe a couple of summers with them or whatever. And my aunt been married several times, so obviously that marriage didn't work too well. If she was married a couple of times, just me as being a child, so I never seen what real marriage looked like. You know what I'm saying? So when I got married, I had to figure it out. So, and like I said, that was seeing my grandmother dealing with alcoholism. And it was crazy because when my granddaddy died, she quit cold turkey. She didn't go to no kind of meeting, back in the 80s. People don't go to meetings like that. So she wasn't going to meetings. She wasn't doing none of that. She just stopped, period. Like got rid of all the liquor in the house. She could be around it. She could be around, like, if we come around as family members and have a drink or two or whatever, we partying on the, or the cook out on the weekend, whatever, she could be around it, but she just didn't touch it herself no more. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So that was from the time probably from 50 something years old that she died when she was in her 80s, because she died at 87, and you talking about 83, 82, 83 when she stopped cold turkey. So for the rest of it, she died in 2015. So she went the next 30 something years, 35, 33 years, and I never seen her touch no alcohol again in her life. You know what I'm saying? So
that's amazing, though. That's amazing when somebody can go cold turkey and stop. That's willpower, man. That's willpower. You know what I mean? So man, the battle of alcoholism is very hard for people, man. It affects kids, it affects family members, and it can be generational curses cause kids do what they see their parents do. Kids do what's they think is genetically okay. You know what I mean? When I say genetically okay, my granddad did it, my uncles did it, my dad did it. Some people my mama's side did it. They just okay. They're veterans, they're retired, they travel a lot, they lived a good life, but not knowing the things they had to sacrifice. You know what I mean? They had to sacrifice a few things, man. A lot of things. They lost their household, cause a lot of kids have told me, I said, you talk to your pops? No, man, I don't talk to him, man. I said, why, man? Man, every time you talk to him, man, the character of drinking comes into conversation because I don't really get to see him sober. Unless he talking his sleep, that's the only time I can see him sober. So, when your children say that about you, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
But moving right along, man, it's been a great topic about alcoholism and the battles of it, the curses of it, how they affect the children, and how it affects a person throughout their life because they think that drinking every day is okay, and it's not okay. And so, the last part of the hour, man.
Well, before we do that, I just thought about something. I actually want to do a different subject. I don't want to do the Kanye West subject. I want to do something that's more important. I feel like it's more important. I want to talk about this Blueface and Christian Rock situation, and I'm gonna tell you why I want to talk about it. Because if you look at the subject matter, it says Blueface and Christian Rock. Why are we celebrating them? We're talking about these supposed to be black love. This is not what black love looks like. Black love is not two people beating on each other. Black love is not you getting your tooth knocked out. Black love is not you stealing my car and driving across the country. Black love is you not putting your hands on my mother. That's the one thing I lost respect for. I could deal with all the other stuff I heard. Things happen, relationships. But the one thing I lost when I lost respect for Blueface, and I don't know this guy from a can of paint, and I don't have to know him, and I don't want to know him. Anytime you let somebody put their hands on your mother, you're a scumbag. You're a piece of trash. You the scum of the earth to me. I don't care what's going on. At the end of the day, and from my understanding of the story was the girl before the mama was enticing her and doing things like, I think she was throwing stuff at her, some trash or something at her, or whatever. And she looked over at him and said, "You want me to beat me? You better get your mom or whatever." And your mom was kind of trying to entice her, try to get her to fight. And she was like, basically he was like, "Go ahead and do what you got to do." No, at that point, you remove your girlfriend from the situation. You put in the car, you tell her to leave, whatever has to happen to remove that situation, you do it. But you never in your life let somebody put their hands on your mother. I don't care what kind of relationship you got going on with your mom, that's still your mother. She still brought you into this world. So at the end of the day, I don't care what kind of relationship you and your mom had, what kind of lack of respect you have for your mother, that's it. You have enough respect for your mother not to let somebody put their hands on her.
So let me ask you this, Dr. Let's be logical here. So I'm not going to be ignorant. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be belligerent.
Yeah, because we do supposed to be on TV with this one. So
yeah. So I'm not going to act like the Jacob of 1996, 97. So what I'm going to do is ask you one key question, one simple question. And this is out there to the viewers. This is out there to the audience. This is out there to the podcasters, the TikTokers, the Instagrammers, the YouTubers, one question I want to know. And people say I always beat them up. I always beat the youth up. One question I want to know. Are you and anyone else surprised at anything you hear about what the new generation is doing? No matter what it is.
I'm not, but see, this is what disturbs me. It's not even what they're doing. It's the fact that we're celebrating. They're supposed to get a reality show behind this. So why are we celebrating and why are we co-signing on some mess? And it's not just the youth, as a whole, as a generation, as a culture, because I guarantee you that show gonna have millions of views. It's gonna have millions of views to follow. Why are we even thinking about this as something that I want to see? I don't want to cut on my YouTube channel or anything else and see these two young black, not just black people, they're successful. Blueface have had some great success in the music industry. Christian Rock, I don't really know her story, but from my understanding, she's had some success in the entertainment business.
Okay, we can tell you this. They said if she had to put out her music and not waiting on him to put it out, they said that she would have been way more famous than Glorilla. Way more famous. It won't be no comparison, bro.
And that's my whole point. My whole point is you done pretty much destroyed any kind of brand you could have really had that would have been in a way where you could have been maybe the next Rihanna.
Not necessarily, man.
Whatever you want to call it.
Not necessarily, man, because people like certain people in the music industry, I ain't gonna call no name because I don't want us to get shut down. So I ain't gonna call no name, but certain people in the music industry is gonna gravitate to that. They're gonna offer this, they're gonna offer her a record deal, a songwriter publishing deal, a music license publishing deal. They're gonna offer her to be a face of a brand, not so much in the US, but a brand overseas that don't really care about what's going on in the US, then she gonna make millions and millions of dollars, bro. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you.
And I know, and that's the part that bothers me more than anything. That's what I'm saying. The celebrating of all of this is flat out ridiculous. It's like I'm not about to see. I see people say. I ain't seen Bootsy say it. I thought it was funny, and I'm like, what's funny about this? Nothing funny about you and Vlad sitting here kikiing about two young black people beating on each other. No, it's not funny about this.
Bootsy think that's funny, bro. You almost 50 years old. You think this funny?
Yeah, so I'm
Like
saying you too old. Talking about you think Vlad is almost 50. Y'all all 52, 50-year-old men talking about y'all think this funny to see black people on in a platform like this. Yeah, like and I mean the stuff that she's doing, and he put it like this. You know it got to be crazy when I gotta offer you money to leave me alone. He offered her $100,000 to leave him alone, and she said, "No, the only way I'm gonna leave is in a body bag or dead or whatever she said, paraphrasing." So to me that alone spells me she needs a lot of help. You know what I'm saying?
she does, but he trying to say leave him alone now. When if we really pull back in time, the things that he did to her, like he's broken her in all type of different ways. You know what I mean? Like put a dog leash on her neck and all type of stuff, bro. Left her in a city she know nothing about. She had to find home her best way she can. Like he's did all type of things to the woman. Now she got that thing called woman scorn, which she don't really care. And so it's like whatever. No, I'm not leaving you alone.
And both of them dead wrong. But my thing is, it's not even so much about what they're doing to each other, because that's their business. It's more the fact that as society, we are co-signing, we are celebrating this. And I understand you saying she'll get a bag off of it or whatever the case may be. But to me, it's always, to me, I always feel like it got to be integrity and morals and values in anything. So how you get the bag and how you keep the bag, to me, has to mean something.
Man, I can't. Listen, man, you can look at it like that because that's who you are. But we're talking about the entertainment industry, the hip hop culture. Ain't no morals, integrity, and values in that, man. That went out the door a long time ago, man. What Russell Simmons and Jam Master Jay and you know Easy Rock and Just Ice and Karis One and DJ Scott LaRock and all them dudes was trying to incite education through hip hop to really get the community to do something to protect our community through the art form of music. No, bro, that's not the dough. Here's where we at with it. Here's where we at with it, man. We're at with it where black and brown people co-sign nonsense. Like I told somebody, y'all growing up off love and hip hop. I grew up off on a different world. You know what I mean? You know, we had shows about college, man. Mm-hmm. About how you had to have responsibility when you was leaving home going to college.
Cosby
y'all
show.
Got,
about Bill Cosby now, but Cosby showed us what that black people can strive and be something. Don't have to be in the hood. Like I love Good Times. Don't get me wrong. But Good Times ain't everybody's story. Good Times ain't every black person's story. And when you seen black people on TV that was actually a doctor and a lawyer and had kids that, and the thing about it was, think about the Cosby Show. Cosby Show, the kids go through some stuff. Ain't like them kids was perfect. You know what I'm saying? You hear people talking about we ain't the Cosby kids. The Cosby kids was not perfect. Theo was basically, struggling in school. Denise had identity issues. You know what I'm saying? Vanessa, when she got a teenager, she was cutting the food. You know what I'm saying? So they was going through the same stuff that every other, where you come from, a great home or negative home, they was going through some stuff too. You know what I'm saying? And whatever. So Bill Cosby didn't try to hide and make them look like they was the perfect family. He didn't do that. He showed the stuff that black people go through in the neighborhood. But I want to say this before we do. I do want to touch on Kanye West just a little bit, just slightly. And I put down there, and I'm gonna say I put down here, is this whole thing real or fake? And what I mean by that is how much is a publicity stunt, how much of it is actually real in what he's saying, and how much of it is the fact that, to me, how much we should have empathy or sympathy for Kanye West. First of all, it's the same man that was a Trump supporter.
So the reason why you say that, I don't really care if he was a Trump supporter or not. I don't really care if he was a Tom Hanks supporter. I don't really care if he was a Eddie Murphy supporter. I don't really care about who he supports. I don't care about that. So this is what I care about, man. This is what I care about. I care about black and brown people counsel somebody else first because they have opinion. But when Gucci had an opinion, and Tommy Hilfiger had an opinion, and Timberland has an opinion about black and brown people, we don't counsel them. But as soon as me or you or somebody that look at like us has an opinion, we so quick to counsel them.
And that's what bothered me. I never thought somebody should be canceled. Even when a white person do something and they use certain words, I can say, yeah, you can use an example to do certain stuff. But everybody is not prone to be. Everybody not. First of all, who are we to cancel people in society? That's the most ridiculous saying I ever heard. Cancel somebody. You know what I mean? Who are you to say you can cancel somebody or whatever the case may be? You know what I mean? My only thing with the whole Kanye West thing is some of the antics behind it. It's like it's taken away from the message. You can have a message without having all the antics. You know
I told people before, I said, man, we can say what we want to say, man. When it was talking, when they had the thing, mute R. Kelly music, I said, man, y'all crazy, man. I was like, man, look, man, I don't listen. If you can sit here and tell me that you're never going to listen to his music again, I say salute to you. But can I tell you that I'm never going to listen to his music again? I can't tell you that, bro.
I'll turn it on right now. If I had something to cut on right now, I'd cut a joke on right now just to listen. That man, what he got on his lifestyle, what he did behind closed doors and the music he made got nothing to do with each other. If that's the case, we can go down the line and be canceling all kind of people. David Ruffin, you know, man, he was a woman beater. We could go down to what's the name? Marvin Gaye and the things he dealt with. You could go down to Elvis Presley, what he did. You go down the line of every musician, you know, all of them. John Wayne as an actor, stuff we've heard about him. You know, all kind of people you can hear. You could go down the line and say, well, they did this, so I ain't about to be, you know what I'm saying? I ain't about to be dealing with all that. I ain't about to listen to their music. I ain't about to watch the movies no more. So I don't get caught up on all of that. My whole question is, and we could talk about get more deep in on another episode, is it how much of it is real and how much is it fake? Because I do think that Kanye West is a genius at marketing himself and what he's doing. And I think it was one of those things where whatever reason he knew it was going to happen. He wanted that. He's so smart. He knew what was going to happen as far as getting removed from these situations. And he
that's why I tell you, people ain't. He don't care about money, bro. He don't care about that. Because if he cared about it so much and he was invested in just only his money, he would have never said what he said. Or he never would been saying what he's been saying for quite some time now.
And he wouldn't even apologize. Because think about it, if he worth $6 billion, how much of them companies worth that's making money off of him? How much are they making?
Yeah.
They probably making $60 billion. You know what I'm saying? So, they're probably giving you $60 billion. You ain't gonna be getting that kind of bread and they not making nothing. They making way more than you making.
And so what they recently said is his real estate investors said they don't care what he did or what he says or who's offended. They're not backing out. So when you have real estate investors that's not backing out, okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Man, anyway, another great show, another great topic. You know what I'm saying? You can find us, book us for interviews, or, you know, if you want to book us to come out and do an event with you. Yeah, whatever, 95 South Podcast at gmail.com. You can hit us on there. You can hit us on our Instagram page, 95 South Podcast or whatever. And also you can hit us individually, Icon E19. What's yours? What's your Instagram?
King Jacob, at King Jacob 1974.
Yeah, so you can hit us at either one of those if you want to hit private messages or whatever. So another great episode. I just want to thank Apostle Q last night for being on her show. Great woman of God, and we had a very, very great, interesting show. So that being said, we're gonna get up out of here or whatever. Brother got things to do, so we're gonna get up out of here. I got a big event to go to today, music event. So I'm gonna be out there for the next few hours on the panel or whatever. So starting to move around the city of Atlanta again. But anyway, brother. See you tomorrow morning, 910 Sports, 8:15 in the morning. Y'all tune in with us, and we're going to keep this thing rocking and rolling. It's your boy Icon E, my man Jacob the Great, and we out of here.
All right.
We got the good vibes, got the 1942 pouring in my cup. In the session, real loud, good gas, yeah, you know we about to roll it up. Bring the bottles to the section, big tab, go ahead and just live it up.